Those of you watching the recording, we'll give it a minute as always here. Got YouTube up and going. Man, what a push last night. Um, I'll tell you, I got a lot to show today. I'm gonna focus more on the TA portion of what I see and kind of what I seen yesterday to make the call about the northern push. And yeah, then we'll just kind of go through what I'm still only running ETH and LTC, so we'll uh we'll go through that part. So I do have 8:30. I'm gonna jump back in here just for the purpose of you guys that are watching the recordings time. So let's flip through these stock pairs again. I'm gonna go through the TA portion of this first. Um, so when you come into the SPX, which is one that I monitor, I don't trade the SPX on options a lot. I do sometimes if I see like a just a crazy opportunity, like something like this where you have, crazy resistance, like that, right? Now, this brings me to my point here is I wanted to zoom out on the 1 hour, right? And you can see for a very long time, we've had massive rejections on the SPX around this 405 level. Even here, it broke it, rejected. It wasn't until it broke it, retested it that we went parabolic up, right? But then if you notice, we broke it again and it was just an absolute downtrend, right? This one we pumped straight to it, couldn't break it, and it was just an absolute drop. So I'm not convinced that we're super going up. We do kind of have like a little rounded formation here, right? With your, could be considered your larger inverse head and shoulder. Until we break this 4057 range and we hold this as support, I'm not super convinced that it's going to go up. It's also end of the month. It's Thursday, Thursday, Friday. They may try to drive this up a little bit, and then I think that towards market close or possibly tomorrow, we're going to see that really big pullback from this push up north, which is obviously going to impact crypto markets. So looking at the SPY, so this one's an interesting one. Um, so I took a put call somewhere in here yesterday. And it came down really quickly like this, right? And I closed it kind of early in profit because what I had seen is in this white. So I actually took a put on this fall. I took the call. I took a put on this one. And then if y'all remember from I think yesterday or the day before, I took the call on this one because I was anticipating this double bottom potentially playing out, which it did. And so you can see this is the double bottom formation. But the most important thing on this double bottom is not only did it get a breakthrough of the trend line there, I'm going to open up comments here. Okay, but we got a retest of the neckline and a breakthrough retest of the trend line. Now this trend line is pretty significant, right? As it was resistance for so long, and that's what's giving us this kind of push north. The one thing that I was cautioning in the room, if you guys seen on the market insight, if you look at the overall grand scheme of things, we're still in a downtrend pattern with a parallel channel going north, right, which is a bear flag. So, although we can be bullish, I could see us rejecting somewhere around this upper level here, right, where this trend line from here has kind of gone. So, I would say if we stayed bullish today, it would do something like this, come up here, hit this line, and this is where we get our significant pullback. So I'm going to look to um, probably take a put somewhere in here. It's too risky to take a call. So for those that are following options, we are still also driving upward on this here. The one thing I want to see, we can see the pre-market is way up. Typically pre-markets when they're way up like this, it doesn't hold, but let's see how the kind of the day unfolds. So I don't typically like to take trades the first 15 minutes or so of the market hold, but that's kind of what's driving that up. Another thing to watch for, we'll do the Dixie first. You can see, like I put in the insight, Dixie's looking super bearish, nosediving, but be just very, very cautious of this range. If you go to the daily, you have to actually go to on this one, and you look at that lower trend line, as I've showed before, it's been a trend line that hasn't been broken. The last time it even kind of broke it was 2021, but it has not been broken since that. So does it mean it can't break? No, I mean, of course it could break, right? But as many of you guys know, what was once resistance, right, becomes support, which is what happened here. Came through, found a little bit of support. But if you really think about this, right, and you pull out and zoom out, right, and don't think of it just as bearish or bullish. What what do we see happening here? We see a potential fall onto support. We see a pump, right? Now, if we hold support on this trend line and we pump up, what is that going to be, right? It'd be a double bottom. That's going to play out, right? So if we hold support here and it breaks above like this to the 105 and we break this 105, then we reject back down to 105, this thing is going to pump up like that, right? Now that's the bullish, or I'm sorry, bearish for crypto, bullish for Dixie scenario. However, right, there is the potential that this could just be a, kind of like you guys know I love to do, right? So you have your peak, 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 other peak that matches this peak, right? Then you got this peak, which was slightly higher, but it matches this peak. So it could be our way back down. Now, this line, why I say it's critical is if you see this line, if you're in a short and you see this line break here and then retest this like that and start to get any kind of bearish sentiment, it's gonna fall hard. You're gonna have the reclaim of this side here. And not only will you have the reclaim of this side, but keep in mind, if it breaks this line, it has not done that in years. I mean, the fall is just going to be nuts. I mean, I don't even, who knows, right? And obviously, we all know if this falls, what crypto does, what, right? It pumps. So that's why, just keep an eye for those that are in longs, those that are in shorts. Just that this is the dollar controls everything. It's not the other way around. So that you're going to really want to mark those levels. Um, and that's why I keep saying, this area is going to be really bumpy. I don't think it's just going to be a straight breakthrough, right? If we even break it straight to here, it's going to be a significant bounce at least once. Um, but if we start to find support around this area a little higher, then that's that double bottom, right? Which is going to break north, which will drive the crypto market down pretty hard. So let's jump on to the VIX. So the VIX I've been studying a lot lately. I actually really like to study it. I tell you, the VIX almost moves the dollar or crypto more. So like when this falls, crypto pumps pretty good. When it pumps, crypto drops pretty good. So it's kind of a cool one to watch. But I wanted to show you this level I was watching, and you can see, although we have fell below this yellow line I marked here, this is the area of most touches, right? Where it fell below, but then it pumped, right? It fell below, and then I mean, look at these dramatic moves north, right, off of this area of support. I mean, look at that, just crazy, right? You can see even here, right, where it started. So if you see where we're at the beginning, it's literally right there. Like we're right there. And this is why I want to watch this because I created a second level right here, which I'm going to actually turn this one green and make it like a 3. So I want to watch this level here because I think if we break this level, which pushes us up slightly higher, right, then in this layer area here is going to be landmine, meaning I would be super careful on your shorts. The other thing you have to look at too on the 1 hour is the VIX is super duper oversold, right? So if this were to flip and go green like this, right, then kind of like here, right, when it was oversold and it flipped and went green. I mean, there's some situations here, right, where it flipped and went green and then it flipped back. Um, but anytime you're in this landmine area, at some point, I mean, look and see in history, right? You when you're deep in this green area, right? You had a nice little push up. You're deep in the green area, nice little push up. Deep in the green area, right? You had your crazy push up. Even here, we were deep in the green area and we had a crazy push up, right? So we're again deep in the green area, but we also another thing you want to look at is the divergence, because as you guys know, they've been around for a while. Divergence always plays out. So you have bullish divergence, but not only do you have that strong bullish divergence right there, which just played out there, right? That's already played out. But if you take a larger picture, right, because this indicator only does a smaller frame. But if you take this area down here is a lower, let's see if I can, yeah, this area right here is lower, right? It's somewhere in this range. And you have this area right here is higher. So you have a higher low, right, on the RSI, but you have a significantly lower low, right, on the candles. So typically that's going to be bullish divergence, because the RSI means that it means that although price action is falling farther, the bulls are starting to step in, right? And so that's why you're seeing things start to curl up. So again, if this one breaks north like it did, here, that's going to drive the crypto market significantly down. So I really enjoyed kind of watching the VIX. It's understanding it, is game changing. I think when choosing your directions and stuff if you're doing live trading. Um, and then just remember VIX and the dollar are inverse. If this goes down, crypto goes up, and vice versa. So on to the market cap. You can see here, guys, even though we had a just wild push last night, it still didn't create a higher high right here before on the market cap before getting rejected. Heck, we didn't even make it to the 1.18 or that red line, right? So that can mean two things: either A, that the buy pressure is starting to weaken, or B, we're just not done, right? Now, the key area you want to watch on this market cap is going to be here, because just like kind of back here, right, where you had your crazy candle pushes, it wasn't until the candles broke this area that we saw that real big fall. You can see again here, right, the candles kind of fighting it, fighting it, fighting it. It broke, real big fall. So that's the kind of the area of interest that we want to watch for the fall. So until you see a candle close below this one, it's likely that we're not going to get that big fall quite yet. So that's the area you want to watch. Also, remember we are short on the market cap on the 1 hour, but we are still green. It has not flipped to red like I talked about yesterday. So that's kind of the area you want to keep an eye on there. So the Bitcoin chart, I kind of went through and played around with a little bit. I wanted to show you guys, I found a kind of a pseudo line that I wonder if it's going to play out. So if you look at the peak from the first bull market, it lines up with this peak, this area, this peak, right, which puts it about here. I think that, in my opinion, y'all, like Pop Bill, I know you know, I've been talking about it for like a year, that the bull markets tend to play out similar. And even in this fall, I was talking about that all bull markets tend to have one more like little mini bull run, right, before the real big fall. I'm kind of wondering if this is going to be that line. A lot of people are anticipating other patterns or lines, and there's a few others. I mean, if you look hard enough, I mean, you can even take like this, right, and put a line, right, like what, which would, that would cover these two peaks right here and then this peak, right? So there's going to be an array of lines, but that the one that I see viable that's kind of the highest is this one. So that's why I made this one super duper red. Um, if we were to go parabolic, right, I think, which I don't think is going to happen. I mean, that would be like 38, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be like if let's say we continued north, it would be a push up, a pull back, a push up, a pull back, a push up, pull back, push up, pull back, push up, right? Which would put us around this level, which would be around 34, 35, um, which would put right at the same levels here of resistance. But like I've been talking about for some time, this 2909 whatever, I have that marked because if you look at this, we have peak, 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 and almost this peak too, right? Plus it was a just wicked support back here. And this was truly the first time that we really got like at it or close, right? We tested it here, got a crazy pullback. We're testing it here now. If we're going to continue to this line, right, this red line here, which is another kind of smaller line because I just took two peaks, right, from there to there. This is going to be a more recent or relevant peak. Oh, I just moved my line. Which one was that? That was my 2909. Oh no, I just placed this one actually. Where did I have that one? I think I had it. I'll delete it. I'll redo it. Um, so this is going to be a more relevant pocket that we could hit. But in order to hit this, we have to break above 2909, 29009, hold it as support, and then that would give us enough to push up here. And then that's going to be somewhere 31, 32, and then the rejection from that, if we go straight there, that rejection is going to just be wild. Like I'm talking all the way down to like probably 20K. Um, Probably pretty fast too. All right, like something like we've seen here. But really, all we've done so far is we had a fall, we went over, right? You think about it, you had a fall, then you had a little bit of a pump, right? This pumped up, this reclaimed that pump, went over, we fell, went over, reclaimed that fall, right? Did the same thing kind of as we did over here. You had your fall, then now you had this dramatic pump, right? Which a lot of times I like to, if you take this from peak to peak or bottom to peak, and you slide it over, I like to see, okay, are we pretty close, right? So you can see we're pretty close to reclaiming this whole area already, right? So um, anything past this is going to get into this mess here, where it was like rejection, support, rejection, support, rejection, support. So there is a chance we could break above this and we could consolidate like this for a little bit, right, before the fall comes back through. So, but these are kind of the really strong levels that I would take some shorts on. And I definitely would caution longs, right? I mean, I would caution longs already right now. And if you are running them on the ATA, I would suggest to have that percentage a little higher, or maybe just do one DCA, right? And if it gets stuck, it gets stuck, and we can add DCAs later. You can always add DCAs. You can't take them away, right, without some kind of loss. But that's where I see kind of Bitcoin going. I want to caution though a little bit, like I said in the insights, is even on the lower time frame, we just have like a big old gap, right? I mean, we got kind of like a rising channel. Those typically like to pull back. Um, let's just think about the mechanics of the timeline too. We're on the 30th. Tomorrow's the end of the month. Thursdays and Fridays typically love to dump on the end of the month. Doesn't mean we're going to dump at market open. Doesn't mean we're going to dump right now. We could push all the way back up to this level here, or even a little higher throughout the day, and then right before market close, then dump down. Right? It loves to do that on Thursdays, is because it's trying to trap as many people in that those long contracts as possible. So. Um, yeah. So then let's flip over to ETH. ETH is we had our crazy push, we had a crazy drop, right? Rejection off the same place. I see ETH doing the same. I mean, ETH is not really following Bitcoin as strong as it did before. Bitcoin's way up compared to Ethereum. Last time Bitcoin was at 28.6, Ethereum was at like 1860 or something like that. So, the alts seem to be holding back a little bit, which is interesting. I mean, you can even see Litecoin is 1.25 down, whereas Bitcoin's like 1 point something up, I think it is. It doesn't show on this one. But I wanted to jump into the ATA. So I had this muted, guys, because man, this is so cool. So this is the Litecoin. So I want to show you how it played the long through this crazy pump. So it did really well through here. It did take a long here. It did one DCA, right? Didn't quite make my second DCA, but look at that. Caught the pump, took TP5, then fell, right? Then now it's just back to trading, just doing his thing. It's not even in a trade right now. But look what the short did. I mean, that is awesome. Actually hit TP7 on this one, right, for the stop. So you had this short that it took like TP4, TP3 or 4, and then it came up. But when you add them both together, look how cool that is. You have a long, right, out in profit, flip to a short, and then maximize that fall. I mean, just caught it. I mean, just phenomenal the way that it handled it. And this is all, I think I was in bed. This is like almost like 11 o'clock. Yeah, I was in bed. So I didn't even know this happened until I looked at the charts because I woke up and saw the price and I'm like, oh, okay, we went up a little bit. That's cool. Right? And then I saw that. So, if your guys' ATAs were fresh, right? Hopefully you guys caught some of that. But I mean, look at LTC for me though. $294 profit in 8 days, running Gambit on that one, and yeah, 294 on that one and 287 on that one. So, I mean, LTC is just a beast, right? I mean, you figure almost $600 in 8 days just on LTC, right? So, just playing that range. So I'm not going to touch LTC. I don't want to. I mean, we're getting into the end of the week. I know we're going to drop. My long may get caught, but I'm not. I'm not super worried because, like I said, when you look at the range, we have a lot of support in here, so there's likely going to be a little bit of a bounce here, which will probably get my long out, and then that'll put me down here, which then in the grand scheme of things, I'm kind of in the middle, right? So I'm not gonna modify anything on there. ETH did the same thing, loved it. Took a buy, DCA here, got out TP1, took a buy, boom, hit TP4, and then is just back to trading. I'm in a buy right now, but it's looking in good shape. The shorts did the same exact thing, guys. Caught this TP3, caught the short, boom, straight to this one didn't hit TP7 mark. It didn't go quite as far, so it ended up coming back and hitting. I think this is four, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hit TP5. So I'll take it. So I mean, just you think about it as a live trader. I mean, how you panic when you see stuff like this, right? And the ATA that it just takes the emotion out, and you just let it roll. So I did reset my ETH, what, 3 days ago. It's because I changed from the range filter over to the parabolic stars. And so, um, yeah, so I reset it 3 days ago. So we have $24 on that one and 27. So $50 in 3 days. I'll take it. Right. And it's not stuck. That's the most important part, right? We're still just kind of cruising along. So, just to touch on, and close these ones. Um, okay. So to touch back on Bitcoin, I put out a comment yesterday I wanted to touch on. I said that, be careful because I think we have one more push up, right? Which is what played on this. So I wanted to kind of go over what I seen on that. So if you zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out, right? That's what we always talk about. So you had a consolidation range here, right? And then we fell. Then you had your consolidation range here. We had pump one consolidation range, right? Pump two consolidation range. So two flags popped out to me. One is we did not have our pump three, which we typically do, right? There's typically a third one. Not always, but what gave me the signal we were going to get that third one is look at where we were consolidating. Right on the top of this previous resistance consolidation. So no matter how big the fall was, it reclaimed it, reclaimed it, reclaimed it, right? On top of what was once a heavy resistance one that was bearish. So this one was stronger resistance. You had lower highs, right? Broke down. This one was all bouncing off of support, right? Now you did have some lower highs in here, but you also had higher lows, right? Which if you really separate this out, right, like this, because sometimes we look at it a little squished, right? And you go like that, right? And you go like this, right? So that was kind of the pattern we were playing. So, but you notice the wicks of these were really, really strong, right? And it was on previous resistance. So you kind of have to me I would probably call this more of a symmetrical triangle just because you can kind of see where the peak is. It's pretty close to the middle. And symmetrical triangles can go either way. But the fact that we were bouncing on previous resistance and we broke above, so I mean this kind of went so parabolic, but it could not break this range, and we kept wicking on this spot, right? Told me that I don't think we're going to break south, I think we're going to break north, right? So, which we did. We just hit a heavy resistance, and it pulled back down. So that break north was mostly to clear liquidity. I'll tell you, the good thing is I got out of my Bitcoin and forced my way out. That short that I had last week, or I think it was last week, because if you think about it, throughout this whole time, I had my stop loss right at 29.1. Market makers are not stupid. They know the TA that it takes. Now, I chose it because of some past stuff over here, is why I chose 29.1. But notice how they literally came up, hit that 29.1 area, wiped every single one of those people that put that stop loss there, and it would have been including me, right? If I wasn't proactive on trying to force my Bitcoin out by taking calculated loss and flipping it into earnings, or taking my earnings to shave it, then I would have just waited that whole time just to get absolutely wrecked, right? Right there. So, um, and that was their goal. I mean, they did what their job was, right? They pumped it up. They wiped out probably a buttload of shorts, right? And then just tanked it right back down. And think of how many longs now are stuck, right? So I'd be super surprised if they let it go all the way up to this range today, because they're going to gear up for an end of the month drop. And I don't know, unless they're considering going a lot higher. I don't know that they would want to allow these long contracts to get out, right? We do have a fall, and then you kind of have like a like kind of like a rising channel going on here, right? So we'll see how that plays out. I'm anticipating maybe a little more bullish fake move up before the drop, but I'm still anticipating the drop, guys. Um, and we'll see. So we'll see how that goes. If you go to Bitcoin for the 1 hour, let's check the. I wanted to check one other thing. Yeah, see, just like I thought. Um, See how you have the bearish divergence? That's because you have a peak, you have a lower peak, right? And we're continuing to make lower peaks, but yet you have a high and a higher high. So, right, typically when you have a higher high like this and you have a lower low, like I said, this is going to have some kind of pullback, and that pullback has not played out yet. So, that's kind of what I see, guys. That's where I'm at. I didn't go into a lot of the ATA settings. I'm not really changing much. If you guys are new and we're hoping I would go over more settings. Um, if you go into the community events, let me actually drag this over so you guys can see. So if you go into the community events, you just click on that, and then you click the past button up here, and you're going to see all of the events. If you want to look for setting adjustments, scroll all the way down to the first huddle, right, which was on the first of the month here. Actually, I think, yeah, the day before. These first, like, maybe five or six are going to show you like every possible setting out there that can be changed. So you can always rewatch these first few if you don't want to watch all of them, but you can see I've done a ton of these. Each one has various settings, various changes that I've done. So you can always watch back on that. So if you're just now starting, or you're looking to figure out how to manage some of the stuff on the ATA. So, and then, as the market conditions shift a little bit, I will start doing the adjustments as well. But I'm just gonna let it ride with two, guys. My LTC is earning really well. My ETH is earning really well. I'm kind of live trading Bitcoin. And I'm not comfortable adding any other alts overextending. Keep in mind, if you're running an ATA, two pairs, both directions, is default. That's based on the minimum that we suggested, right? So unless I'm dramatically over that minimum, which for Gambit I'm not right now, I don't want to take that risk of overextending it during an uncertain market where we could have either an absolute pump or a massive drop, right? I don't want to overextend that. So um, don't be greedy, you know. You get some wins and stuff, and it gets exciting. And we always think about like, oh, I made $100. Oh, if I turn on another one, I'll do another 100. Well, what if I turn on eight? That's $800. If it was that easy, I mean, we'd all be rich, right? Don't be greedy. Just pick one, you know, two of your favorite pairs, run those consistently, but just wait for the opportune times to run the other ones. What I'm waiting for is, you know, I'll end it with this. Let's just say like Matic. I'm waiting for an actual prime time to run something. So I would want to see this fall down into this range so I can go long only, or I want to see it break all the way up to here, and I'm going to ride that sucker short only. But I don't really know that I want to, with so much uncertainty in the markets and things, and some manipulation going on in the economy. I don't want to overextend in the middle. I kind of want to get back to range trading these ones, so you probably won't see me activate Matic until I get either super low down here or super high up in here. So um, yeah, and then we'll you know, just ride the range down. And I mean, I'm telling you, it'll be far less stressful and far more profitable overall. So yeah, look at pre-market still pushing up, guys. Um, but I will keep you guys updated. Today, I'm not. Let me think. I should be able to do the Q&A session as well after this today. I won't be able to do it tomorrow, but I'll set up a um, channel for it for those that want to join it. So we'll just start it at 9:30. We'll do the same thing, 9:30 to 10. That'll give me time to go eat some food. But I appreciate you guys' time, and you guys have a great rest of your day.